What's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. Just wanted to give you guys an update on the intake and the flashpro calibration. I mean, I've been driving around with it for a couple weeks, and so far it's really good. I have been enjoying the better throttle response, the difference in gains that you feel throughout the whole RPM band. And one of the things that I like about it is I like, of course, with the the flashpro calibration, the K&N calibration. I like the way VTEC kicks in at around 4,400 RPM, and then for some reason we get another strong pull at 6,000, which is, I thought it was kind of interesting, because I thought lowering VTEC would just make you feel that noticeable engagement a little bit sooner, and then it just kind of goes to a steady pull, but it actually doesn't. You feel it kick in, and then at 6,000 the car all of a sudden just pulls a little bit stronger as well. So it's actually kind of nice, and hopefully here in a little bit I'll be able to demonstrate the difference in driving with the intake and the flashpro calibration. But I mean, otherwise, a lot of good things to say about it. I mean, fuel economy is good. It's similar to what I've been having before. You know, the first time I've had it, I mean, if you saw my last video, I was talking about reaching 300 miles to the tank before my light came on with the stock tune calibration, with driving it aggressively a few times, or more than a few times. But this time, I mean, it's the same thing. Fuel economy has to be better, because I've been driving it a little bit aggressively a couple times, or a few times actually. I try to do a whole gas tank, just driving it completely normal, not hitting a VTEC at all. But of course, I mean, sometimes we're in a hurry and we just gotta, you know, do what we gotta do to get there. So far, let me adjust this real quick. People don't think I'm watching them. But I mean, so far it's been really good. Like I said before, installing the intake is a noticeable difference with the flashpro, and it's that feeling that you want when you install a new mod to your car. It's like you're eager to go out there and try it out and test it out and see how better it feels. And with the intake and flashpro, it makes it much more enjoyable, and you feel the gains that you really do want out of every single mod that you put in the car. But otherwise, been having really good experience with it. Accelerations, of course, it's been improved significantly over stock. Yes, with just the intake and flashpro, it's much better than stock. Of course, it's not super fast or anything. It's not going to be fast unless you boost the car. But it does make it a lot more fun, and of course the car is still controllable 100%. If you're accelerating hard at a turn or on a ramp or whatever, you can still manage the car very easily. It's not, you know, uncontrollable. You do get a little bit of torque steer, but like I said, it's 100% controllable if you anticipate that kind of response from the car. So I didn't think there was going to be this many cars here, so I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to show you just the difference in acceleration and stuff like that from my last videos. But yeah, if you guys haven't had a chance, please take a look at my other videos from the beginning. Talks about my progress with what I'm doing with the car, and I think I have in there an acceleration video from 35 to 150 when I had my CT Engineering Stage 1 supercharger kit. The acceleration on that is awesome from 35 to the end of fourth gear. It's awesome, especially for just having a stage 1. And at the time I had the colder intake, Q300 exhaust, and a strup header. So even though the header was a little bit of a restriction, but good enough for a stage 1 for a daily driver, there could have been more gains with a larger header. You know, for example, the NVIDIA header, or like a K-tuned header. But yeah, take a look at those videos. I do want to show you guys more videos. I kind of want to take a step back and go into do another video of why I wanted to go try out actually a short ram intake right now over cold air, or any of your typical name brand cold air intakes like Skunk 2 or Respect, or you know, even K-tuned intake, or the power chamber or whatever. But I'll show you guys in a different videos. You know, there's certain things that I'm looking at that make, you know, that make some pretty good sense. So I want to share that with you guys. But let's take a look. As far as the next thing I want to do, well, as you know, I bought the car used. The dealership did a couple things to it, which I was glad. One of the main things picking up this car, looking into this car when I first bought it, was, yes, it's, you know, I picked it up with 100,000 miles, and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna have to, you know, probably put in a clutch or whatever. I have no idea about the history of this vehicle, but as clean as it was, the dealership did put in a clutch already. So that was a big plus for me. I didn't have to take care of that at all. So clutch and transmission fluid is perfectly new. And let's see where I'm at real quick. All right. But yeah, so that was good. But I do get a little bit of a squeaking on my front suspension. So with 100,000 miles, probably still has, you know, I think it does still have the original suspension on it. It's time for me to get everything swapped out. So I'm already piecing together parts that I'm gonna do. I'll probably just end up doing, you know, struts, shocks, strut mounts, of course, spring seats, and you know, a couple little things for the suspension, just to bring it back to OEM, I guess. I don't want to do anything crazy like coilovers, or I'm not trying to lower it or anything. The car actually, you know, rides pretty good the way it is from factory, and like I said, I'm pretty happy with it. Let's take a look. Hold on. Alright. So I can't do that just yet. Can't do it again just yet because this car's in front of me, but I figured if I can get through 1 or 2 gears. Another thing that I like about the intake is, of course, the sound. Yes, you do get a lot of that suction sound, but it's not all the time. It's mostly through part throttle, or maybe up to, you know, 30% throttle. You'll hear the suction a little bit. Let me see if I can show you guys. Let me get some water. All right, let me see if I can have you guys hear the intake real quick. Let me get us some less bumpy road. If you hear any squeaking, that's my my front strut, my passenger strut. Oh yeah, then after that, I think that's it for exterior or suspension. Maybe replace the 2 front rotors, and I'll show you guys how to do that later. But I do have enough life for it to get me through the winter, so it'll be a later video. All right, let's wait for this light. Long light. All right, so we're about to go ahead here. Let me see if I can get past the intersection first, just to make sure no one's watching. Bumps. Bumpy road, bumpy road. Alright. Let me slow it down a little bit. So as soon as I make that right turn, I'm gonna See if you guys can hear the intake. So I think, you know, the intake sound is nice. You know, it adds a little bit of you know, sportiness to it and to the intake, and gives a little bit more excitement to drive. But let me see here. All right, don't ask me how my flash turned on, so whatever. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can hear that. You gotta get it in a little sweet spot real quick. Great if you can. Oh well, I mean, you get the idea. So of course, you get that sound on part throttle, and I'm thinking it's because the throttle plate is partially open and you got the air trying to suck in from the vacuum on the engine. And of course, once you open it and that throttle plate is laying flat, then it's pretty much where the sound kind of dies off. But yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of nice. Let me see if I can show you guys a video later on. I've already reached my destination, so that's pretty much it for now. And thanks for watching, and give you guys some more updates.